And for more on rare metals, click onto handelsblatt.com, the website of Germany's leading financial daily, or go to our own site, and that's dwworld.de. And joining us in the studio now is Schweikert, a commodities expert. How do we know if our commodities are extracted in a humane way?
Well, you don't know it at the moment. You can only guess. But they're trying to change that now in giving a certificate to a raw material, which shows you where it comes from exactly and where it's through which hands it's gone, to make sure it's properly mined. You know.
When you say they're trying to change that now, a concerted effort by the UN. I mean, who's behind that?
Yeah, it's America on the one hand and the OECD countries on the other.
OK. Well, obviously, our modern way of life is pretty dependent on these rare resources. And I think we have a graphic that shows just exactly how it's split. Every year, some 130,000 tons of these rare earth elements are used for various items required by our modern civilization. 40% for the production of batteries, 25% for crude oil refineries, 20% for lenses and spectacles, and then some 10% for mobile phones, LCD screens. So we really need tantalum. And co-problem is that puts countries, or it could be a problem, countries like China, Russia, Brazil, they're in a pretty strong position.
That's true, and it is already a problem, as we've seen with China, which has restricted its exports of rare earth. And I think that's going to become increasingly a problem, that we'll see more protectionism on the raw materials front, not so much because they're evil, those countries, but because they're using it for themselves.
Yeah, you say we've seen that before, so why isn't any European country investing in tantalum or other earth elements?
Well, some are certainly, not in Europe, because it's very difficult to get mining through here. But there are companies who are financing mining projects in other countries and in return get long-term contracts supplying them with the raw material that they want.
So is there a chance that we can do business with other countries, others than China or Russia, to be less dependent on them?
Well, there is, but it takes a long time to build up the supply. It really takes a long time and a lot of money. And I don't know whether the European position is the best one in that case.
Not at the moment. But if you say it takes a long time, why didn't we start earlier investing in it?
That's a very good question. I don't know. A number of institutions pointed this out, that China, for example, would be using the rare earth it produces on its own, you know, for itself. It's its biggest customer anyway. I don't know why that's happened, because until last year, maybe people weren't alerted to it because the prices were still fairly low.
OK, but now...
But now prices are very high and are shooting up, and then suddenly it gets more important.
So our situation becomes clearer. We've also seen that we're thinking about recycling the material, for example. I mean, could that be an alternative?
Well, to some extent, yes. But at the moment, recycling quotas are very low. 0% for some metals, 4% for tantalum, for instance. So it's difficult and it's going to take some time, but higher prices will be an incentive.
OK. Schweikert, thank you very much for joining us.